"You'll never be anything more than my backup," my brother declared at the party. Mom nodded. "He's right. You're just a helper." I didn't respond. By dawn, his car was repossessed, rent overdue, and every credit account frozen. By noon, he was outside my building shouting my name. I never answered the door. "You'll never be anything more than my backup," Cole said, his voice loud enough for the whole room to hear. His friends laughed, thinking it was just brotherly teasing. It wasn't. Mom didn't even look up from her drink. "He's right, William. You're just a helper. That's what you've always been." The words slid through me like a cold knife. The lights were dim, music still playing low, laughter still echoing around us. But I couldn't hear any of it. Cole raised his glass. "To my promotion, and to William, who'll probably fix my mess when I screw it up." Everyone clapped. My hand trembled around my glass, the wine rippling slightly. Dad said quietly, "Don't make a scene, son." I hadn't said a word. For years, they'd called my silence maturity. Tonight, it just felt like a cage. By midnight, I left without a goodbye. By dawn, every payment, every favor, every quiet help I'd given them was undone. At noon, Cole was standing outside my building, shouting my name. I watched through the curtain, and for the first time in my life, I didn't open the door. "Who is William?" "I'm William Cross, 27, the quiet one in a family that never stops talking. I work in IT, nothing glamorous but stable. I pay my bills, show up on time, and help when no one else does. They call that boring. When I was a kid, Mom used to pat my shoulder and say, 'Will's reliable. Not exciting, but reliable.' Even at 8, I understood what that meant. Forgettable. I used to believe being useful was the same as being loved. Turns out, it's just the fastest way to become invisible. They blamed me for things I never did, ignored me when I was right, and when something went wrong, my name was the first one they said. But here's the part they never noticed. I stopped needing their approval years ago, and I've been watching, listening, remembering. Family snapshots. Cole, 31, loud, confident, and allergic to responsibility. The kind of guy who fails upward because charm fixes what honesty can't. Mom, Lorraine, her love comes in conditions. If you're not shining, she's not proud. Dad, Marvin, talks like a man of reason, but his silence always sides with the strongest voice in the room. At dinner, they'd talk around me, not to me. Cole's jokes were the main course, and my achievements were the side dish no one touched. Once, I brought home my first paycheck and offered to help with bills. Dad laughed, "Keep it, son. It won't make a dent." Mom added, "He means well. He just doesn't think big, that's all." Cole grinned. "That's why he's better as the helper." I smiled, pretending not to feel small. That's what being part of my family felt like. A play where I was always cast as background. The argument started when Grandpa's old house came up for sale. It was the only thing left that felt like mine. I'd been maintaining it for years, mowing the lawn, paying the taxes, fixing leaks. All quietly. Cole wanted to sell it and split the money. Mom said, "He's right. You don't even live there." I looked at her. "Neither do you." Cole leaned back, smug. "You wouldn't even have that house if Dad hadn't handled Grandpa's estate. You should thank him." Dad cleared his throat, but didn't deny it. That's when I realized. They didn't see me as family. They saw me as an extra income stream, a quiet worker who didn't argue. Mom's voice softened. "We just think it's time to move on, William. You can't hold on to everything," I wanted to say. "You held on to me for everything. Money, favors, peacekeeping. But I didn't. Not yet." Cole smirked across the table. "You really think you're the only one who works hard? You fix computers, man. Big deal." Mom laughed a little too loudly, covering her wine glass. "Cole, stop teasing." She didn't stop him. She never did. Dad sighed. "We're just trying to make decisions like adults. Don't get emotional." That word, emotional, always meant you're losing. I looked around the table. The people I'd called family were strangers in perfect lighting, all dressed nice, all pretending to be good people. My voice came out calm. You've all lived off my silence. Tonight, that ends. Cole chuckled. Oh? What are you gonna do, Will? Delete us? I smiled faintly. You'll see. The room went still. For once, they were the ones uncomfortable. When I was 20, Cole got into a bad investment, borrowed $40,000. He couldn't pay back. Mom called me at work, crying, begging. If the bank reports it, he could lose everything. So I emptied my savings, sold my car, took a loan in my name. I was just a kid trying to protect my family. When the debt was cleared, Cole never thanked me. A month later, he bought a new truck. At dinner, Mom bragged, our Cole always bounces back. No one mentioned the loan. No one mentioned me. Years later, I saw that same truck repossessed. I was still paying the interest. That's when I learned. In this family, loyalty isn't love. It's leverage. In the middle of our shouting match about Grandpa's house, Mom slipped, "You wouldn't even have that house if your father hadn't saved it after what he did with the bank." I froze. What he did with the bank? Mom went pale. Dad's jaw tightened. Cole looked away. What deal, Mom? I asked again. She whispered, It wasn't Cole's loan. It was your father's. He used Cole's name. I felt everything drain out of me. All those years, all that guilt I carried, all that money I paid, wasn't for my brother's mistake. It was to cover Dad's. I looked at Dad. You let me think it was him. He said nothing. Mom said, You wouldn't have helped if you knew. She was right, and that broke something deep in me that'll never fully heal. The shouting started again, but it sounded distant. Mom cried, Dad defended himself, Cole blamed everyone but himself. I stood there, steady. You all built a house of lies, I said. And you made me the foundation. Dad snapped, We did what we had to do. I nodded slowly. And now I'll do what I have to. Cole shouted, You think you're some kind of hero? I turned toward the door. No, Cole. I'm the quiet one who stopped saving you. Mom grabbed my arm. William, please. We're family. I looked her straight in the eye. No, Mom, we were. The next morning, I packed everything I owned into 2 boxes and moved into Grandpa's house. The air smelled like dust and freedom. Cole called 10 times that week. Bro, you went too far. They're freaking out. I didn't answer. A month later, Mom texted, We need help. Dad's accounts are frozen. I just stared at the message. Funny, I'd heard those exact words years ago. I wasn't angry anymore, just done. Peace doesn't always come from forgiveness. Sometimes it comes from distance. Months passed. The house felt alive again. Sunlight through old windows, soft radio music, quiet coffee mornings. One evening, I got a letter from Mom. It said, We didn't know how much you carried. We should have been kinder. I read it twice, then burned it. Forgiveness isn't a door you owe anyone. It's one you open for yourself, when you're ready. And standing on that porch, watching smoke curl into the cold sky, I whispered, For the first time, I don't carry their weight anymore. I wasn't the backup anymore. I was the one finally living my own story. If you were in my place, would you forgive them, or would you walk away forever? Tell me in the comments, like if you've ever been the quiet one who finally spoke. Subscribe for more real stories about betrayal, healing, and learning to stop apologizing for being the one who cared too much.